So let's see how we can use Duckdb in R. So we'll start with a few libraries: dbi, Duckdb, DPLYR, reader, and finally the tibble. So with these libraries, we are now ready for the next step. And the next step would be to create a connection object for the Duckdb database. And we're going to use an in-memory database in the first example. It is faster, but the drawback is it only exists until your computer is working or your R script is working. Once you stop it, it's gone. And in the next step, we will also see how we can persist those databases as well. So moving forward, let's create a small tibble. So I'm using 2 columns, name and age, only few rows of data, as you can see. So the next step is how we can start using the Duckdb. So in the first example, we can register a data frame into Duckdb. So it's more of a symbolic representation of your data frame. So it doesn't physically exist as a table in Duckdb. It simply registers it. So you can still use that as a real Duckdb table. For example, you can run SQL commands on that if you want. So remember, the registered table was people. So I'm going to run a query on the people. So I'm saying name and average. It doesn't make sense because we don't want the average for each person. We just want the average age overall. So this way we got the data. So you can also query your database using DPLYR. So with DPLYR, you don't really need to use SQL. You can use the DPLYR syntax to do that. So my people table, and I'm using people table, filtering it and selecting 2 columns. So it's only a list at the moment. You can see filtered, but once I run the collect command, it physically brings the data and stores it as a data frame. You can see on the right hand side now. So once I use the collect command, it physically executes the SQL and brings the data back, which gets stored into our data frame. So now let's create some tables inside the Duckdb, not registering it, but actually creating them. So let's use a create table command. So create table people copy as select star from people. And now if I list the tables, we can see that we have 2 tables, people and people copy. Let's see some more SQL commands like insert, update, and delete on the tables. So first example is the insert command. So db execute, insert into people, these values. The better way to insert values is passing the parameters like this. And an update command, I'm changing the age and 3 records are being affected. Now I'm deleting a particular record and you can see 1 record has been affected. So let's see some more practical examples. So this time I'm going to read the data from a CSV file, not bringing the data into the system, but the data is still in the CSV file. But I can actually, so first of all, I'm going to create a CSV file. As you see, I've created it and we can see that in Excel. So we have few records. So now using that CSV file, which is sitting on my computer, I can run an SQL directly like this. And finally, I can say collect. Collect brings the data into the data frame. So we have the data in there. Same way, we can also save a Duckdb table onto my desktop using a Parquet file format. Before we go any further, let's see what data we had in the people copy table. We had 7 rows. So now I'm going to run this copy command. So selecting star from the people copy and save it onto my disk or my desktop in a file called people.parquet. So if you wanted, you can also query this file, the Parquet file which I've just created. So again, using the SQL-like syntax, saying select star from x/data/people.parquet, and it had brought back those 7 records, but it's still as a list. Until I do a collect command, it's not physically going to execute the data and bring it back to the data frame. So if done that, now it's created a data frame called df. And I can also run aggregate SQL on a big data frame like this. For example, I'm just picking up the mean age. It could be a big data file, and I can still run any queries on that. And there's also a mechanism of checking your query plan. So query plan often exists in big databases like SQL Server, DB2, etc. And I can use the explain command, saying explain, select star from people where age is more than 30. It tells me it's going to bring ID column, name column, and age column, and is going to be around 6 rows of data. There's also that concept of the temporary tables. So temporary tables are tables which exist temporarily until you've closed your connection with the database. So this way, I'm creating a temporary table, and I can query it and bring it back into my data frame if I wanted. You can see that running the db get query has brought back 3 records. And finally, and the most important part of Duckdb is how to disconnect from the Duckdb safely. So disconnection is a 2-step approach, which I always use. First of all, this line of code, and then also run this Duckdb shutdown. It avoids a lot of problems. And now let's see the other part, how to persist your data into the system. That means create a permanent database on your desktop so that you can call it back again and again, and your data would still be available. So here is the command. So instead of the db directory equals memory, I'm saying the name of the actual file. If the file is not there, it's going to create it. If it's already there, it's just going to call it. So with that, you can see that I've created some extra tables in that, and then I've disconnected it from the system. And you can see that it's physically sitting on my desktop. I'm going to create a data frame with 1 million records and then try to save it into the Duckdb itself, running the write command. You can see the Duckdb database size has increased. And now we have 3 tables, people 1, people 2, and people big. And I can bring the data back into a data frame, and you can see there's 1 million records in there. And finally, we're going to use the disconnect command and the shutdown command. Again, I'm saying that use both the commands one after another. It avoids a lot of file locking problems. So I hope you found this introduction to Duckdb useful and practical. Thank you very much for watching it, and I hope you like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.